Hey, good morning, everybody. It is great to be with you this lovely, beautiful Wednesday morning. So good to be with you all. You know what it's time for? It's time for the morning briefing. Oh man, that coffee was good. I can't wait to get back to that coffee, to be honest with you. But we've got so much to talk about. I mean, there's some incredible things going on in northern Baja California and southern California. First of all, what a great show last night. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Mike Morrison from 22nd Street Landing is always a kick to have on the show. He's very honest. He always lays it on the line. And we got to talk about some incredible fishing. And then, of course, Jason Lawler, Chef Jason, and Anthony Amalfitano were on the show. They're big integral parts of the Friedman Adventures family. And we had an absolute ball, taking all your questions, having fun with all the people who make Friedman Adventures so great. And I'm talking about all of you. It was really a lot of fun. Don't miss the video we did yesterday with Sam De La Torre over there at Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. Sam did a video on a torpedo sinker rig that is being very effective for bluefin tuna on the Royal Polaris and elsewhere, Royal Star. All the guys are using it right now, and it's working really, really well. Sam not only goes into why he thinks it's working, but he shows you how to rig it up. So that is really great stuff. We've got room on our October 5th through the 7th trip on board the Pride out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. I think 4 spots. That's our last trip of the year. You might want to jump on that one and have a good time with us. If you want to go, I'll send you the list. All you got to do is look in today's show description and you'll see the trip, or you can send me a text at 657-227-6459 and I'll send you further information. And speaking of Sam's, when I was over there yesterday, I met a couple of great guys, Edgar and his brother Furman. Furman's going to be on board the Pacific Queen on Thursday. So, of course, we sent him all our best for a great trip. And I couldn't have met a couple of really nicer gentlemen. It was a lot of fun. And meeting so many of you out there at Bass Pro Shops and elsewhere, really appreciate all the support you are giving the Friedman Adventures channel. It really means a lot to us. All right, let's get into it, folks, because there's so much to talk about. There's so many crazy things going on. We'll jump across the border to our Pongaro brothers, and they've been doing really well. Excuse me, down there in Ensenada. We're seeing nothing short of outstanding fishing down there on the kelps. There's also yellowfin tuna, more of it, and it's starting to bite better and better and better. Not for everybody, and there's a little bit of a funk, especially for the day boats out of San Diego. We'll talk about that in a moment, but sometimes you'll find a school of yellowfin that are voracious. They want to bite everything you throw at them, and they are very fond of biting. You throw a yo-yo iron, a chrome type jig, a tatty, man, they love to bite on those kinds of lures. So if you have a bait problem or you want to fish heavier line, you can do it. Now those yellowfin range from, I want to say 15 pounds up to 60. Nice grade of fish down there. Again, a fly line bait, when you find the right school that wants to bite, has been very effective. Fluorocarbon. We love Opsin, as you well know, www.opsinusa.com. Put in FA at checkout for a free gift and a note from Greg Brown. That works really well, combined with a good hot bait. Those things are very, very effective. Snagging some mackerel down there in Ensenada is a good way, not only to catch those yellowfin, not only to catch some bigger grade Dorado, but bluefin love to bite on the mackerel, so not a bad idea down there in that neck of the woods. Weather-wise, today, we've got a little weather mostly up to the north. Channel Islands are going to have way too much wind here today. You look out there in the bluefin zone around Clemente, and they're going to get blown up also today. Inshore, south of the border, where most guys are fishing, not bad at all. It's going to get a little breeze in the afternoon. So most of it is up there in the north, and it looks like it's a one-day blip on the radar, and then we're out of it. So hopefully we'll get back to some really nice weather and keep the ball rolling, because it's pretty incredible. All right, we talked about the day boats out of San Diego, and they're in a bit of a funk. I mean, a couple days ago, the San Diego had 103 yellowfin tuna, followed by subsequent days of slower fishing. And again, we had that kind of a hit going on down there. So hopefully that's going to pick up here. The Grande, 30 guys, 25 yellowfin tuna, and 11 Dorado. The San Diego, 7 yellowfin and a Dorado. Not those big scores that we have been accustomed to, but I think it's just a day or two before they get back on it. Perhaps it'll be today. Those are really hard, capable fishermen on those boats. They'll get back on it. Mahi-mahi, same kind of a situation. Hopefully they're going to get back on it there out of H&M Landing and start popping off some really good fish. All right, let's talk about offshore overall. It is still really, really excellent right now, as the bite on Dorado, most of all, continues red hot with a lot of marlin mixed in. We've talked about the bluefin and the yellowfin. I'm telling you, guys are saying, when will the first wahoo be taken? When will we get a blue marlin or a black marlin? And I really believe those are all within the realm of possibility, especially when we're seeing whale sharks and all these other crazy things that we normally don't see here in Southern California. The key is to be prepared. The key to catching is to do your homework before you leave. That means new line. You don't want to spend all this money on a fishing trip and go with line that's going to get busted off on a trophy fish. So new line, we like fluorocarbon. Also the big advantage that you will have is by varying your tackle, by having light stuff and heavy stuff. And by light, perhaps you don't want to go below 20, but I think a rod with 15 is a really good idea when you get on a really picky bite on the Dorado. You can pull plenty hard on 15 and you will get bit. If you do that, drop your hook size down to a number 2 or 4 and choose a hot bait, you're going to get bit before everybody else. 20-pound normally will work, and then in addition to that, then have your heavy stuff, 25, 40, and then the really heavy stuff, especially if you're on a day-and-a-half trip or above. That's when you're going to do some nighttime fishing. That's when you're going to need the 100-pound, 200-pound leaders. Look at that video Sam did if you want an alternative to knife jigs. I recommend that you have both knives, flat falls, as well as these torpedo rigs. I mean, that's just another option available to you. You don't have to have those, but it's something that you might want to think about. It certainly is interesting to see that they are biting on those things. So the variety of tackle is going to serve you really well if you make sure you have light stuff and heavy stuff for sure. Now, I mentioned those chrome jigs. Daiwa Zakanas have also been working well, like the 60-gram jigs when you're rolling up on a foamer, a bluefin or yellowfin. Those are really effective jigs. You don't want to be throwing the iron with anything less than 40. I like 50, and you can even go up from there. Definitely want to throw the iron with some heavy, and at times it has been super effective. All right, let's go through some of the scores with you now. Condor, limits of Dorado. Then they got on the tuna grounds. We'll get a report from them in just a second, as they finished up just not too long ago. And then back into San Diego they came. Daiwa Pacific, 2-day trip. Here we go. This is what we're looking at in the future. 123 yellowfin tuna, 13 Dorado for only 13 guys on a 2-day trip. That's nice fishing, no question about that. Ocean Odyssey, 29 guys, 77 yellowfin tuna. Nice hit there. 31 Dorado, 2 bluefin, and a yellowtail. Legend, 29 guys on a 1.5 day and a half trip. 118 on the Dorado, a bluefin tuna to go along with that. And that is some really good fishing. LA Orange County based boats, man, I'll tell you, it goes from a few Dorado, and by a few I still mean like 30. And Mike Morrison was talking about it last night on our live show. We would have given our eye teeth for a count like that just a few months ago. Now it's just so common. And then these marlin are around. When you hook marlin in Southern California on a sport boat, that is really, really special. It is so cool. Gale Force, 19 guys out yesterday, 47 Dorado, 2 marlin released. That's some awesome fishing. Western Pride, 114 Dorado with a bluefin. Navigante limits of bluefin tuna and Dorado out of Redondo. Navigante's been hot, and they continue to put the hammer down. That is, it just doesn't get any better. Limits of bluefin, limits of Dorado. That is some really great fishing for those guys. Gale, or pardon me, Native Sun, up there around 200 Dorado. Pursuit, big day yesterday, 100 plus Dorado. Freedom is already bit this morning on the Dorado. Tremendous fishing last time on the Freedom. Sounds like they're off to the races again today, although they were just rolling up on it, so we'll have to wait and see how they do with Trevor at the helm. I saw the guys on the Freedom last night, Gary and Blair and everybody, and wish them nothing but the best of luck. Great crew on board there. So you can hear the scores, and once again, you know, you look at those scores where they've got 29 Dorado or something like that, and that's when the fluoro, choosing a hot bait, lighter line, smaller blacktail hooks are going to come in really, really handy for each and every one of you. Now, in the Channel Islands, we've seen Dorado and copious amounts of bluefin. Those bluefin have not been on the bite up there in the Channel Islands, but Dorado, they've been picking away at that. As we mentioned previously, the weather's got those boys all screwed up here today, but they'll get back to it again tomorrow and hopefully continue. And that Fort Bragg area up there, that has been an incredible bite. That's, 600 miles from the Mexican-American border. It's a long ways up there, but they've had marlin, big yellowfin tuna, quite a bit of big eye tuna, albacore. They've had some Dorado. I mean, unheard of that far north. That's the kind of crazy year it has been and continues to be. Take a look at the islands down there, Todos Santos off Ensenada. Some really good yellowtail fishing going on there. Guys are trolling rapalas through there and getting bit. Some surface ironfish, yo-yo ironfish, mackerel fish. Pretty good fishing going on there. Coronado Islands have been really steady and great for most of the years. Problem is that no one's fishing it. I mean, everybody's offshore to take advantage of this incredible year that we are having. But a score of 25 to 70 yellowtail for a sport boat is perfect. And that's what we've been experiencing there. A lot of good fishing on that 25-pound fly line bait. Also some surface ironfish. It's been really good there. And there's still a few barracuda. Bass fishing's been pretty good also. Speaking of our local bite, along the local scene, we had that flurry of white sea bass up in the Santa Monica Bay recently. Well, that manifested itself. Greg Watson Sr. and Jr., they were at a 22nd Street landing yesterday, and they said that they had 75-degree water on the horseshoe kelp, and the calico bass bite was off the hook. Wide open bass fishing. I saw the fillets that they had. Looked like really nice bass. Legal fish, biting full speed. Excellent bite there, and 75-degree water on the HSK. Man, that is really, really warm for the local scene. I don't know how I got into the local scene. I needed to go back to Clemente, tell you there's good yellowtail fishing there. Catalina's been iffy all year long, but there's more and more yellow starting to move in there. Channel Island area, some halibut, some white sea bass, and that offshore stuff's right outside, but they've got weather here today. And then when we look at the local scene, I mentioned that bass bite. I was so taken by that warm water on the horseshoe kelp. Some bass there around Dana and down there in San Diego, and rockfish up in the Santa Monica Bay. For those guys, they had that flurry on the white sea bass the other day on the Spitfire. Some really good fishing going on there. And then up in the Channel Islands, Island Spirit, California out of Ventura, good bottom fishing going on up there, but again, their weather's up. Good Corbina fishing along the beaches here. That has really, really been outstanding. So happy to see that going on. And also some yellowfin, croaker, and some decent halibut fishing, especially on the Lucky Craft lures. I see that going on over and over and over again. I got to take advantage of this really, really soon. By the way, I'll be doing some surf fishing lessons here starting, well, probably later this year. If you're interested, you want to get on the list, we'll meet at a beach. A lot of times it'll be right here in Surfside, and I'll take you through the basics. There'll be several different courses that I'll be teaching. Fishing with lures, fishing with natural baits, which includes finding the bait, like how to dig up sandworms, that kind of stuff. fishing with grunion, how to read the tides, how to read the beaches, and when to fish, all of that. I'll be doing that in the near future. 657-227-6459. If you're interested in joining me for a surf fishing lesson sometime in the future, another month or so we'll start in, just send me a message so I can put you on the list and then send you out some information when we get rolling on that. All right, it was good to see my friend Daryl Spivey yesterday. Daryl's a great guy, brought me lunch down to 22nd Street Landing, got to spend some really precious time with him. And plus, he chipped in and helped me load up a truck full of clothing that will be heading down to Mexico really, really soon. I'm going out to La Mirada this morning where Joe Gallagher and Gallagher Staging warehouse all the clothing for us for our January 6th trip to Mexico, when we're going to be bringing lots of love, mucho amor on your part down to our brothers and sisters in Mexico. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you to all of you who donate. I'll be seeing David Maestro. Many of you know him, outstanding fisherman, even a better person in La Mirada in just a little bit. All right, fishing's crazy, everybody. It can't get any better, or can it? I think it can, actually. I think you're going to see the San Diego and the Grande hit on those yellowfin here really, really soon. And the great thing about this year is you just don't know what's on the horizon. There's going to be some crazy stuff. You're assured of that. All right, my friends, have a wonderful day today. Always great to spend my mornings with you. I toast you all one more time with this beautiful cup of coffee. Oh my God, it smells so good. I know it's going to be a little cold because I've been blah, blah, blah a little too long, but it's still going to be delicious. Have a great day, and I hope to see you really, really soon.